The Tea Biz podcast delivers tea news that you need to know. A recap of the week's major headlines with commentary and cultural trends hosted by Dan Bolton. It is the voice of origin for tea professionals and enthusiasts worldwide.
Tea nourishes and inspires. It is an ancient plant-based medicine that simultaneously heals and energizes the body as it soothes the mind. Making fine tea is a blend of artistry and craftsmanship. The $200 billion tea trade is fundamentally local, yet exerts global influence, employing millions to enhance the well-being of all. Hello, everyone. Here are this week's headlines. Escalation of conflict in the Middle East is dimming the tea shipping outlook. Bubble tea brands line up for IPOs in China, and police recover a stolen gold matcha bowl valued at 10 million yen. Plus, coffee versus tea. The Specialty Coffee Association's annual exposition in Chicago last week attracted more than a dozen tea exhibitors and featured several expert presentations on tea. While most consumers visit grocery and department stores to purchase tea, coffee shops and cafes are the second most popular retail outlets by value. More than 38,400 branded coffee shops in the United States and 42,800 in Europe generate 10 to 20% of their beverage revenue from specialty tea. In this episode, Tea Biz narrates the highlights of a talk by Youngmok Kim, the principal scientist at Finlays. In his presentation, Kim compares coffee and tea, the world's most popular caffeinated beverages, with useful insights on distribution, markets, and relative health benefits. More in a minute, but first, this important message.
What makes a perfect cup of Ceylon tea? The perfect cup is from the tea businesses that ensure the protection of all the children living within their tea estates. We salute Kailani Valley, Talawakili, Bogawanthalawa, Harana, and Elliptia tea estates. Support Save the Children, Sri Lanka.
The first deaths of crew members and the escalation of aerial combat between Iran and Israel dim hopes for the resumption of tea shipments via the Suez Canal. Premiums remain high but are stable as insurance provider Lloyd's assesses the potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz following Iran's seizure of the MSC Ares, a 14,300 TEU container ship owned by a U.S. shipowner. Scheduled disruptions have slowed growth at British and North Sea ports in Rotterdam, Bremen, and Hamburg, which lands most of Europe's tea. As longer transits reduce availability, charter rates for containers increase. In February, due to Red Sea disruptions, freight rates to Europe from India doubled. Europe is India's second-largest export destination. Drewry's World Container Index was $2,795 for a 40-foot container last week, up 64% from the same week during the previous year. Rates are 97% higher than the 2009 pre-pandemic average of $1,420. Transatlantic rates remain stable. Routing around Africa adds 10 to 14 days at sea for tea arriving from Asia, Africa, and tea producers in India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Nepal. UK blenders and grocers importing packaged tea report some shortages. Half of the UK's tea imports are sourced in Kenya and India. The only bright spot is that oil prices remain flat. The U.S. Central Command says its forces successfully engaged 2 unmanned aerial vehicles in areas controlled by Iranian-backed Houthis this week without damage to U.S. ships, coalition, or commercial traffic. The March 6th deaths of 3 sailors on board the Barbados-flagged cargo ship True Confidence off the coast of southern Yemen followed the March 3 sinking of a carrier struck in February in the Gulf of Aden. Since October 2023, the Houthis have attacked ships transiting the Red Sea on more than 60 occasions. Business Insight. The Economist Intelligence Unit lists conflict in the Middle East as one of 5 high-impact threats to business worldwide, citing risks associated with disruptions to the region's maritime shipping routes and global terrorist activities perpetrated by non-state actors. Quote, in an already tight oil market, disruption to oil production and shipping from the Middle East would increase international oil prices significantly, further prolonging cost of living pressures, particularly for oil importing emerging economies. A regional conflict in the Middle East would also draw in external powers, potentially exacerbating tensions between the U.S. and its allies on the one hand and China and Russia on the other. End quote. The market for freshly made bubble tea will reach 200 billion renminbi in 2025, according to the China Chain Store and Franchise Association. An estimated 486,000 bubble tea stores saw an increase of 40% in annual sales last year to reach a market size of 145 billion renminbi. 10 new style tea brands dominate the market, with leader Matcha operating 36,000 shops. Youngmok and Cha Panda, Anti-Tea Jenny, and YH Tang each have between 5,000 and 10,000 outlets. The Financial Times writes that Cha Panda's 7,900 stores will soon be listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. It will be the second bubble tea chain to go public, following Nayuki in June of 2021. Nayuki was valued at 29.2 billion Hong Kong dollars, with a share price of 17.04. According to the Hong Kong Index, it is currently trading at 2.6, down 85% since the initial offering. Cha Panda is seeking 2.6 billion Hong Kong dollars, about 330 million US. Founded in 2008, it is the third largest of the new style tea ventures. Youngmok currently operates 9,000 outlets. Cha Panda and Youngmok typically price their drinks at about 20 renminbi, while Matcha sells its tea at half that price. Several competing firms, including Anti-Tea Jenny and Shaji Cha Baidao, have recently announced IPOs. Matcha Ming Chang filed an IPO application with the Hong Kong Index in January 2024. The company is seeking $500 million US. In 2022, Matcha announced plans to list on the Shenzhen Stock Exchange, seeking about 6.5 billion renminbi, which would have been $910 million US. But no official announcements followed. Quote, bubble tea is one of the few bright spots on the consumer front in China, with low-priced operators doing particularly well, end quote, according to NASDAQ News and Insights. Ben Cavender, managing director at China Market Research Group, told NASDAQ, quote, whoever can IPO the fastest and get to a stable operating position may be the winner over the long term, end quote. Tokyo police have successfully recovered a 24-karat gold matcha tea bowl stolen on April 11th from a Japanese department store. Police on Saturday arrested a man suspected of stealing the engraved bowl, priced at 10.4 million yen, about 65,000 US dollars. The 380-gram bowl was confiscated on April 15th from a Taito second-hand shop that had paid a Koto Ward antique dealer 4 million yen. The Koto Ward shop had paid 1.8 million to Masuro Hori, a 32-year-old from Tokyo's Kyoto Ward, on the day of the heist. Dealers are required to submit a payment declaration to the Office of Taxes for any gold valued at $2 million or greater. Surveillance video shows a man slipping the bowl, which was displayed in an acrylic display case, into his backpack. Hori later admitted to committing the crime, saying that he was in debt. The exhibition featured more than 1,000 gold items, including a 38 million yen, 6-foot-tall dragon covered in 3,000 sheets of gold leaf. The bowl is the work of Koichi Ishikawa, a third-generation goldsmith who won the prestigious Tokyo Governor's Award in 1988. Next, Arvinda Anantharaman in Bengaluru reports on this week's India Tea News.
India Tea News for the week ending April 19th, 2024. A quiet week here. In top news, Vikram Singh Bhulia, Managing Director and CEO of the Amalgamated Plantations Private Limited, has resigned. He will leave the company with effect until June 2024. This makes him the second head of a tea corporation resigning this year after Atul Astana's exit from the Goodrich Group. The Amalgamated Plantations Board has appointed Sukhjit Singh Malhotra, who is currently Vice President PSO at Tata Consumer Products, as full-time Director and CEO designate from April 9th, 2024. The Amalgamated Plantations is the second largest tea producer in India, owning 25 estates in Assam and the Duars and producing 40 million kilos of tea annually. In other news, all eyes are on weather this season. It's a prolonged drought from October to March in North India, which has impacted wheat crop. First flash picking began in late March, and although rains have begun, crop is still in low quantity. It's being seen in Darjeeling and also in Kangra. Vivek Lochan of Tokti says quality has been good and better than in recent years thanks to the slow growth and the lack of rain. In Kangra too, volume has been impacted, but the tea quality is up. At the moment, the first flash verdict is low crop, but good quality sweet teas, better than in recent years. How the market responds to it is to be seen.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hello, I'm Bogdan, a passionate tea drinker and the inventor of the ultimate tea machine, the Brew Maker 1. Preparation is key to making fine tea. Sequential steepings deliver the best taste possible and unlock the true value of whole leaf teas and botanicals. Brew automates that process without using any pots or capsules. This simple-to-operate, smartphone-controlled device stores steeping profiles to consistently make great tea at the push of a button. Brew also reduces time, waste, and energy. That's because I engineered the brew to remember control settings for temperature, brewing time, and quantity. Using my patented process lets you stack steep simply and conveniently.
Coffee versus tea. The Specialty Coffee Association's annual exposition in Chicago last week attracted more than a dozen tea exhibitors and featured several expert presentations on tea. While most consumers visit grocery and department stores to purchase tea, coffee shops and cafes are the second most popular retail outlets by value. More than 38,400 branded coffee shops in the United States and 42,800 in Europe generate 10 to 20% of their beverage revenue from specialty tea. In this episode, T-Biz narrates the highlights of a talk by Youngmok Kim, the principal scientist at Finlays. In his presentation, Kim compares coffee and tea, the world's most popular caffeinated beverages, with useful insights on distribution, markets, and relative health benefits. Youngmok Kim, Ph.D., is the principal scientist of Advanced Analytical Sensory Science Processing Research and Processing Improvement at Finlays. He joined the company in 2019 after 10 years as a senior research scientist at Synergy Flavors. Kim, who works at the Finlays office in Rhode Island, has studied tea and coffee for the past 16 years. In this talk, he describes the distribution, markets, and health benefits associated with the two beverages.
All right, so world is divided. Okay, for non-alcoholic beverage drinkers, world is divided. Okay, so if I draw a line here, boom, I can draw one line right boom. So left side, so North America, South America, and mostly European countries. So coffee is more popular. And here, Asian countries and some of African countries and Australia, yes, tea is more popular. The world is unfortunately divided, okay? Rightly, clear? Okay, so let's take a look at global beverage, non-alcoholic beverage market. So here, tea is clear winner. So overall in the world, people drink more tea over coffee. But if we talking about US beverage market, coffee is clear winner. So definitely United States is a coffee nation. So I want to talk about it. I want to talk a little bit more about tea market in the United States. So mostly this guy, bar and ice. So tea gained a huge popularity in convenience, thus quenching in flavor and as a healthy choice. So traditional tea market, including loose tea leaf and tea bags. So those traditional tea market increased by 3 times for 20 years. So red tea market, like this guy, so bar tea and then iced tea in restaurants. So red tea market increased by 38 times for the same period of time. So that makes tea the 7th most popular type of beverage in the United States after juice, coffee, milk, beer, soft drink, and water. Okay? So tea is gaining more popularity, so like moving to that direction. About 75% of tea consumed in the world, that's black tea. But this trend is a little bit, even more extreme in the United States. About 90% of tea consumed in the United States, that's black tea. So black tea is extremely popular. Okay? About 75 to 80% of tea consumed in the United States. For Americans, no, that's like iced tea in restaurants or barbecue tea. Okay, 75 to 80% of drink is cold drink. That is why red tea market increased much faster than traditional hot tea market. That is why black tea is a lot more popular in the United States. I mean, okay, the question is, okay, why green tea is not popular in the United States? Because Americans do not like green tea's leafy and fresh flavor. Think about that. At full temperature, green tea's leafy flavor is even worse. It like, taste, smell like swamp. Okay? So green tea is not popular at all. Okay? Think about black tea. No problem. At temperature, full temperature, there is no fresh leafy flavor at all. Okay? So that is why black tea is really popular. Okay, so that was brief introduction.
After describing the great divide between coffee and tea-drinking nations, Kim explained the processing and chemical makeup of tea.
So roasting is the art. So I want to say it's the art of science. Caffeine is the single most important compound for both tea and coffee. So I'm going to come back to this a little later. Okay, so next one is sugar. Okay, if we talk about simple sugar, okay, the amount is like tea has a little more or the amount thing. But this is not it. Before we send this to carbohydrate polymers to each sugar, so coffee is clear middle. Okay? That is why coffee can use this sugar, okay, during roasting process. This sugar is being used to develop coffee's unique flavor and then appearance and taste. And then add more, coffee adds more protein, okay, then tea and then liquid, yeah, for sure. If we put coffee and tea, yeah, we see more liquid flowing along the cup. And the last one, this is another important topic, okay? So I want to talk about polyphenol compound. So main polyphenol is protein acid here up to 10%, and main polyphenol, catechins and some others, they are, in both green tea and black tea, they are up to 40%, okay? So again, after campaign, I will come back to this discuss video later. Very good, trust me. Okay, so second comparison. Okay, how coffee beans and tea leaves are made. Okay, so you go ahead and pick up the tea leaf. Oh, it's not tea. That's just tea leaf. Okay, that is not tea yet. Okay, and the different thing there, right? Pick up cherry. It's not coffee, right? Has to go through. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The most important part of the process. Okay, so just like that, most important part of tea making process is fermentation. So I'm going to talk about that. So all 5 things are made with one same raw material, which is camellia seeds tea leaf. So once again, real teas are made with only this tea leaf, camellia seeds. Okay, teas are not made with this camellia seeds tea leaf. So something like mint, peppermint, chamomile, they are not tea, they are herbs. Okay, so they cannot be called tea, they need to be called herbs. Okay, so tea made with this camellia seeds tea leaf. Let me start with white tea. White tea is made with young tea leaf and dried later. That's white tea. And the green tea is also made with camellia seeds tea leaf, short, and made with matcha tea leaf, and then it's dried later. Okay? The difference between this white tea, green tea is either made with young tea leaf or matcha tea leaf. After harvesting, both teas are go through this either steaming or pan fire heating process to inactivate the enzyme to polyphenol oxidase to prevent the oxidative fermentation. Okay, so those teas are the dried, not fermented teas. But oolong tea is different. Okay, oolong tea is made with matcha tea leaf and goes through fermentation process, and then black tea is steaming so far, matcha tea leaf and goes through fermentation process. So we first between oolong and black, that is the degree of fermentation. Okay. So when tea is partially fermented, I mean when the degree of fermentation is between 10 and 80%, we say that tea is only partially fermented. Now it is called oolong tea. And when tea is fermented more than 80%, it is fully fermented tea. Now that is called black tea. Okay? So those teas are the same material, but depends on the processing. Yeah, we have 4 teas so far, but there is one more tea. So some black teas undergo additional aging process, just like wine and whiskey are always better. Okay, so that tea is called port tea. Okay, so the aging process is up to from couple years, even up to like couple 100 years. Okay, always better, and needless to say, this is the most different type of tea. Okay, so those 5 teas are made with one same raw material.
Fermentation develops the flavor of tea, explains Kim, but coffee roasting generates an entirely different taste profile.
So roasting is the art, silence is the art of silence, you know what I mean. But I want to focus more about the heat change during roasting process, okay? So overall, during roasting, bitterness increase and then acidity decrease, okay? So there is one main reason for this, bitterness increase, acidity decrease. That's protein acid, the main polyphenol compound coffee. Okay, protein acid. Let's take a look at why. Okay, so very simple. The protein acid in green bean, it took then sour, very sour, and then by roasting process, it becomes protein acid lactose. Okay, bitterness. Okay, so sourness decrease and bitterness increase during roasting. But that's good. Okay, that's a good reaction. So again, protein acid becomes protein lactose, so it's bitter, but pleasantly bitter. But if too much heat is added, so either the lactose will become vanillin, okay? Still bitter, but it's harshly bitter, okay? That is why too much heat makes the coffee like harshly bitter, unpleasantly bitter. Okay, so actually, so 2 main organic acid in coffee, which is citric acid and malic acid, they decrease during roasting, okay? So actually going down. So again, this is protein acid, different variety. They all going down, either degraded by heat or it transformed into protein lactose. So acids are hot during roasting. So high roasted bean has less acid. So how about acid in tea? So I already talked about bitterness, right? Bitterness, higher bitterness in green tea and lower bitterness in black tea because of fermentation. And of course, because of fermentation, so black tea has more acid. So during fermentation, the sugars are metabolized into organic acid, and then other organic acid is also cleaved, okay, during fermentation process. So this black tea has more acid than green tea.
Caffeine is the unifying component that drives sales of both coffee and tea. Kim explains that while tea contains more caffeine per pound than coffee, tea drinkers actually consume less per cup.
So, as time is I came back to this, the single most important compound in tea and coffee, caffeine. So, calculated coffee, caffeine and tea. So, caffeine is the most popular central nervous system in the world. So, about 90% of adults in the United States consume caffeine daily. And once again, the tea contains a lot of caffeine. So, about 2.54% caffeine by driving. So, when I ask, like my audience, okay, hey, look, which tea has more caffeine, black or green? Okay, when I ask that, so I got most of both, that black has more. That's common knowledge. So when I just go to Google and then just type which tea has more caffeine, and this is the information I can easily get from the web. Okay, that green coffee has more caffeine than black tea, and black tea has more caffeine than green tea. Okay, this is the common knowledge. Okay, but let's think about it. I have tea leaf, fresh tea leaf, and to make green tea. Okay, this tea leaf simply dry. Now I have green tea. To make black tea, this tea leaf goes through fermentation process. Now I have black tea. Okay, so the only difference green and black fermentation process. So if there is more caffeine in black tea, that means caffeine should be generated during the fermentation process, right? Right? So I decided to figure that out. So I set up the experimental plan right over here. So I got fresh cut tea leaf, okay, and some of them did not ferment at all, and some of them were fermented for 20, 40, 60, 80%. And then after each fermentation, they were removed, and then I determined the caffeine, okay, with those samples. So, if caffeine is generated during fermentation, that means I will have graph like that. Because more fermentation will give you more caffeine, right? Okay? So, this is the result. So what happened? Caffeine actually degraded during fermentation by the natural enzyme state, okay? To degrade. So, green tea has more caffeine than black tea, okay? That's critical. Then why we see something like, this kind of information, okay? So, at least in the United States, there is no domestic tea growing, okay? So there is no way, I did it when I was in Korea. So, there is no way, that we can something like that. So, when people do this, go ahead and buy Ipun black tea, and then, or Hazo green tea or whatever, deploy the brand, and then, measure the caffeine amount. That is not fair compared, right? Without, harvesting region, harvesting time, how they process, what's the degree of fermentation or whatever. Without those kind of conditions, this is not meaningful comparison, okay? That is why we see this kind of this information. Okay, very easy, right? When we talk about coffee and caffeine, because caffeine is very, very stable compound, okay? Very heat resistant. So from here, light and then like a dark source. And caffeine actually does not change. So it looks like a little bit increase, but we know why, right? Because the moisture is lost during roasting process, okay? But basically, caffeine is not changed during roasting process. Okay, so now I want to compare the caffeine in coffee and tea. Okay, so this is USDA data. So okay, coffee prepared with tap water, and then black tea prepared with tap water. Okay, so per cup, so there is 40 milligrams of caffeine in coffee, and then 20 milligrams of caffeine in a cup of black tea. So this is true statement. Coffee has more caffeine than tea. When we talk about the cup, okay? How about the raw material? So I mentioned this like 3-4 times already. but he had more caffeine, okay, about 3-4%, and then coffee, 1.1%, okay? We're talking about raw material. Then why in the combo tea? There was supplement, right? Because we can get only 32 servings from 1 pound of coffee. But from 1 pound of tea, we can get 236 servings.
And finally, what is the unifying benefit of coffee and tea?
So the definition of an antioxidant is prevention of oxidation. Okay? So to understand the antioxidant, we need to understand oxidation first. Okay? So I will start with oxidation. So I will tell you what oxidation is first. So here, so it all starts with the oxygen. Okay? So oxygen, we need the oxygen to breathe and then to survive, right? We have to breathe. So here are oxygen molecules, usually O2, okay, 2 oxygen molecules with 16 electrons, okay? That's oxygen. So oxygen is usually pretty stable, okay? Here, oxygen here, and the oxygen in my body, very stable. But when oxygen is exposed to some external factors, oxygen loses to 1 or more electrons, okay? So when oxygen is exposed to some external factors like radiation, poisonous food, cigarette smoking, UV light exposure, water and air pollution, and excessive sunlight, excessive exercise, and by normal human rate. Okay? So what I mean here is, okay, so we have oxygen in my body, right? In our body, for sure. And after we smoke, then oxygen in our body will be exposed to cigarette smoking, right? Then oxygen in my body will be stressed and will lose 1 or more electrons. Okay? As an example. After that, oxygen is not oxygen anymore. Now it is full free radical. Okay? I'm pretty sure you guys have all that. So the problem with free radical is extremely reactive and always want to be normal. Okay? So free radicals start stealing electrons from other normal cells in your body. So after losing electrons, of course, your cells get damaged and will start barcodes. Okay? And here's another problem. This damaged cells start acting just like free radical and want to be normal. Okay? I need electron. Okay? I want to be normal. So start stealing again electrons from other normal cells in your body. Okay? They feed the protein and DNA. After losing electrons, of course, they will get damaged and start barcodes. This reaction is called oxidation. Loss of electrons. That's oxidation. Okay? Difference between loss of electrons and oxidation. So once this oxidation happens in beverages, like iron, roasting, will occur. What is this happens in fruit and vegetable? They come from oxidation, browning. What if this happens in our body for a long period of time? What's going to happen? Even in this lot of disease, including 2 biggest killers of Americans, cancer and heart disease. What if we human body receives cumulative damage for a long period of time, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, what's going to happen? We will get aging. We are getting old because of oxidation. So according to what former aging researcher Dr. Olson said, in NIH, aging is a disease. The human life can simply reflect the level of free radical oxidation damage that accumulates in cells. When enough damage accumulates, cells can survive properly anymore and they don't evolve. Okay? So this is why we look older than 10, 20 years old because of oxidation. Not just humans. How about book? When you book 50-year-old book, because of oxidation, it looks old. How about building? 50-year, 10-year-old building, what? Because of oxidation. Okay? Let's think about humans a little bit more, okay? So, like, people live like longer than 100 years. Where do they live? New York City? No. They live like a mountain area, right? With clean air, okay? Free radical, clean air, okay? Clean air, that's very important. So I briefly mentioned here, right? So here, free radical is even generated by normal human beings. So that means if you inhale 100% of oxygen, about 15% of the air is going to be free radicals. So here, we sit here and we are all free radical generators. Okay? So good work going please again. Ventilation, okay? So yeah, so like even though like you sit in your room and oh yeah, go down here, go by myself, there is clean. No, you clean yourself. Okay. So proper ventilation is very important. So let's think about that. Like you go to like a auditorium, big stadium, and then like you with like 10,000 other people. Okay. So at the beginning it's fine, but you feel suddenly like later like headache, feel not getting more light because the air is contaminated by humans. Okay. We are in danger. Pushing the copper everywhere, right? It's screwed. Alright? But let's not worry about that too much because we have our system here called antioxidant. Antioxidants come here to boom and donate the electron here and here and then repair the damage and stop their reaction immediately and then also repair and then repair and then stop their reaction. Okay? Stop oxidation immediately. So what is the effect of antioxidant? Gain of electron. Okay? Loss of electron oxidation, gain of electron antioxidant. So these antioxidant donate the electron, okay? It stops everything by oxidation. So your mom was right. What did your mom say? Okay, alright, so that's good. But I want to go on tea and coffee. So generally speaking, tea offers more health benefit than coffee. Boom, for it. Okay, so then how can I drink my cup of tea and coffee healthier? So if you add milk to your tea or coffee, okay, my suggestion is don't do it because the milk protein and the molecules, they bind to each other and they lose their whole bioavailability. Okay, so you will lose all health benefits if you add milk. Don't do it. If the purpose of drinking is your health, don't do that. How about sugar? The sugars do not react with any particular compound in your beverage, but the sugar is sugar, so that's up to you. And then, so if you add lemon juice to your tea, totally good. Okay, first of all, lemon in beverage is good, or that's good for you. And then the lemon, like a raw pH, and it'll make like this character. And the compound more stable. So as a result, your absorption rate to your body will absorb more antioxidants by doing that. Okay, so totally good.
Intrigued by what you heard in today's podcast? Would you like to learn more from our global network of Tea-Biz journalists and tea experts? Remember to visit the Tea-Biz website for more comprehensive coverage. That's www.t-biz.com. Thanks for listening. Farewell till next week.
Produced by Adavita Studios. Connect your voice to the world.